Holtz-Eakin and Doug, John McCain had said over the weekend that he wasn't phoning it in, that he would get lawmakers to support this, get Republicans. What happened?
Well, David, today Barack Obama's Democratic Party failed the American people. What should have been a process that led to a deal.
Specifically, how did they fail them? Specifically,
at every point when John McCain came and tried to put together a negotiating process with all parties at the table, he was subject to partisan attacks.
You said today, Doug, you said today the
Nancy
Democrats and
Pelosi,
Barack Obama failed them. How was John McCain involved in negotiations today? And if you can't answer that specifically, how did the Democrats fail them today?
Today, Speaker Pelosi delivered an incendiary partisan speech at a moment when bipartisanship was needed to prevail. John McCain had put in place a process where Republicans were at the table. It was a bipartisan process. At every point when in that process, as he tried to develop that, he was subject to partisan attacks.
Let's take your first point, Doug. Let's take your first point. Doug, let's take your first point. So you're saying, fair enough, partisan speech, fair enough, but that would also then mean that Republicans today put their own feelings, their own hurt feelings about partisanship ahead of the good of the country, right?
Look, we have always, John McCain worked the phones today. He worked the phones every day. He's visited with members of the Republican Party. This was a tough vote. A week ago, they were excluded from the process. There was no deal. Taxpayers weren't protected. We're in a terrible place. He moved this bill as close to something as he could to match the principles that they wanted, and they really were counting on some Democratic participation in that. The Democrats showed no such participation.
If he was moving it as much as you said, why was John McCain nowhere to be found on Saturday night? I mean, he was off having dinner with the Liebermans, which is fine, but up on Capitol Hill, you had the House Republicans, you had the Democrats with Secretary Paulson eating pizza out of boxes in the Speaker's office, and they were negotiating until 1 in the morning. Where was John McCain on Saturday night?
Let us be very clear that John McCain understands that had he looked like he was going to be the key to the success, the Democrats would attack him and kill the deal. That's what you saw today. They were not going to let John McCain do the job that he was trying to do, deliver a bill that would help the American people. And sadly, the American people will lose as a result of this. John McCain understood that had he kept a low profile, talked with members of Congress, as he did, asked them where they were in their votes, called those members who were reluctant. He was doing his job and doing it with a low profile necessary to keep the Democrats from pursuing their partisan agreement.
Doug, where was the low profile last Thursday when John McCain decided he needed to suspend his campaign and go to a meeting at the White House? Where was the low profile then?
Beginning last Tuesday, Harry Reid said that Republicans needed to be in on this. John McCain needed to deliver votes. Speaker Pelosi said continuously she was not going to deliver Democratic votes. The Republicans had to do it in the House first. John McCain suspended his campaign to get relief for American families. Put in place a process.
Right back to the original point. As you said, he was there to deliver Republican. No, wait a second. You said he was there to deliver Republican votes.
Are once again sabotaging a bipartisan effort to help American families.
You just said he was there to deliver Republican votes, and the fact of the matter is he did not deliver the Republican votes.
He took this process from dead in the water to a vote in the House of Representatives this morning. Absolutely dead in the water, no hope whatsoever. A bill everyone condemned, Democrats excluding Republicans. This morning we had a vote, only because of John McCain. And that vote could have been successful, but the Democrats behaved poorly. That's too bad. And American families will suffer.
Because the Democrats' poor behavior, because you're saying because Republicans got their feelings hurt, that's why this vote blew up, right?
This is a serious matter that should have been conducted in a serious bipartisan fashion. That's not what we saw at many points in this process. The Democrats displayed no commitment. Where was Barack Obama for today? If you look at what his prepared remarks said, he was praising the passage of the bill. The bill didn't pass.
He was supporting it, and you guys have issued a statement saying that he wasn't supporting it. All right, Douglas Holtz-Eakin's Doug.
He did nothing.
Doug, first of all, before we go, we only got about 20 seconds. What does John McCain think we ought to do next?
He's going to land, and you'll get to hear from him. He's out in Iowa right now. Tune in.